Hi, I'm Jean Blackwell Font. I am a collage artist and assemblage and mixed media, working on printmaking now, which I'm really excited about, moving into printmaking. We're here at collaboARTive, which is in the Bird Road Art District. I'm originally from, well, that's a complicated question. My art talks about that a little bit. I was born in Maryland. I lived in Maryland, Virginia, and Florida, but I really grew up in South Florida since 1979.
So can you provide us an overview of the organization, its mission, how it originated?
Okay. Yes. Well, as I was mentioning, we originated with the help of Rosie Gordon-Wallace from Diaspora Vibe. We say her name often in this space. She really helped Iggy, my husband, and I step into the role of having a practice, a dedicated practice. She was here in this space with us for maybe 2 years, and then moved into Lower Haiti. And with her, actually, we hosted a couple of artists in residence from other parts of the country. It really set the vibe, I think, for what we do here. And then when she left, we decided to share the space with others. Glue tape on the floor and no walls. We had no walls. And we began. 2017, we started. We had 4 artists here, including us. And it included people like teachers and people with full-time jobs, maybe in the design or marketing or graphics. But the common thread was they needed to paint. They needed to make the work. They had work they needed to make, and they needed a space to do it. So we provided an affordable space for that. In 2020, when the world was coming to an end, I always say, the studio next door, the artist next door, was downsizing for personal reasons more than anything else. And one of our friends, Maria Patino, said, well, if you take that space, I'll be the first artist. I'll help you find people. And we're like, okay, well, let's see what happens. And then before we had to pay the rent, we were full. We had 5 studios, and we filled it with, I think, really more like 6 or 7 artists. People were sharing. We had students from MICA that came because they were, during COVID, of course, they never went to school. They were here, and their parents didn't want them painting in their houses. So they came here and they made their work until they were ready to go. After the whole pandemic thing, they went back to school. So we've had a lot of that. We had a guy in the back, actually, who wasn't sure what he was going to do. He wanted to try something. And through that course, he committed a year to the studio. We do month to month, but he personally said, I'm going to be here for a year and I'm going to do this thing. And throughout the course of trying, other things, he wrote a book. And now he's traveling all over the country. He's like this self-help guru, So he found his path in the space where he had time to just think and create, right? So he found his way. And so that was 2020. And then in June of this year, Marucci Carmona found herself without studio mates. And she's been there 5-6 years. Found herself without studio mates. And she said, well, I don't want to leave. I don't want to lose my studio. So we filled her space in 3 days, got 3 more artists for her. And she's quite content with this lovely group of 4 women, all with different kinds of practices, all painters, but their work is all very different, and you'll see that. And I call her the Queen of 24 because when you see her space, she has so much work there. She's just stored, years of painting and sculpture and all the things she does. It's remarkable. So now she's staying. Doesn't have to leave ever, although you never have to leave. And that's how we are. Our mission here it has evolved since we became a nonprofit 2 years ago. We've been working on the language, we've been working on the focus to make it more concise. Because when we started, it was we do this and we do this and we have that and da 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 da. Now we know we provide affordable studio space for people who are looking to create a practice.
So there's no criteria. They don't have to be emerging. They don't have to be mid-career. There's no specific medium that they have to work. It could be anyone.
It could be just, well, we don't have exhaust. So we say they can't work with toxic materials. If they're doing spray paint, they have to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a kiln. So there are some limitations because of the space, but that's it. They have to be dedicated. They want to, put skin in the game. There can cost money to be here. We don't give it away for free, but it is affordable.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to just be dedicated to the practice. They need to find their way. And that's really what brings them here. They're looking for community. They're looking for people to talk about their work with. All of our spaces have research libraries, so it's all art books.
Really?
Yeah, this is our personal collection that we have now. Our house is like floor to ceiling books. So we have research libraries because you have to reference back to something.
Absolutely.
I mean, we are making art from our imaginations, but it's always informed by something, and it always makes it more academic and more intellectual. If you can say, well, my work is based on the work of, it references back to the Enlightenment period and if you can talk about your work in an intelligent way,
right,
people begin to take you seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really what we care about. We care about people who need to make work. We don't decide whether it's good or bad, as who am I to say, right? But if they care about it so much that they have, left their home, came to this strange warehouse space and said, yeah, I need this. All right. And so, like I said, I put them on a priority list, and the next time something happens, it's first come, first serve.
It's month to month, or?
We go month to month because the life of an artist, it can be a little unstable,
Absolutely.
And especially in this town, it's becoming increasingly difficult to be able to afford a home.
Much less a studio.
Much less an additional space of a studio. Right. So we go month to month, and it has, because we don't want to hold anyone hostage either, or go into the legalities of making them pay. No. There's a small deposit they pay, which buys them 2 weeks. So when they're ready to go, they tell us, we're out in 2 weeks, or we're out at the end of the month, and that just pays the last segment of whatever rent they need, and off they go. They're moving on to, we've had Sean, I just forgot his last name, but he moved to Texas, and he's like, I'm leaving, I bought a house, my family and I can't live here anymore. Tanzanite, who was up front, they raised her, like right around the COVID section, they raised her rent like 40 or 50%. And she was like, I can't do this. So she actually moved up to North Florida. We've lost, since 2020, probably 4 artists that just couldn't do it economically anymore. It didn't make sense for them financially. So that's another reason why we hold to affordable studio space, right? But then the other thing we do is we do all these public-facing events, reminding people that you don't have to be an artist to be creative. If you want to paint, just paint. If you want to play with, glue sticks and scissors, collage, go for it. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's no rules. Just use that creative energy, because there are all these studies out now. It's better for your well-being, for your emotional and mental well-being. It limits isolation because you're doing this with others. And it helps with just creative problem solving. I mean, even if you're an accountant who lives in a very analytical, logical world, you have to activate that other side of your head. Because how can you begin to connect the dots? Oh, I see why this is losing money, because that is creative energy that comes from we call it creative play. creative play. Adults do not get enough time to play. And so that's the other part of it. So it's really two-pronged. Studios for artists, for people who want to make work. And just little reminders that you can play too.
Yeah. I love what you're doing here.
Thank you.
Because it's so important, because more and more residencies have have certain expectations from their artists.
Right.
Some of them have to be much more well known.
Yeah.
They have to, and what you're offering,
or professional. They have to commit, X amount of hours.
Right.
Yeah, and what
you're about is the practice, which is incredible. It's amazing.
Thank you.
You also offer. I know you offer programming and workshops. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I figured out, because we're filing for grants and we're doing reports, and I realized we're going to do 88 events in the 24-25 cultural season, which of course starts now, October.
You're so busy.
I know. I just can't say no. Like my poor husband, Iggy, he's like, okay, let's not. I'm like, okay, no, I'm not. We're not going to do it. No. And there we go. We're doing it. It's really hard to say no. And we actually both believe that, you just have to show up.
Yeah.
Say yes. See where it takes you. If you don't like it, you can step out. But by saying yes to Rosie, okay, Rosie, let's go check it out. It put us here,
Sometimes when we overthink things, and I've found that, like, I get a lot of analysis paralysis, and I find
Yes.
that if you don't do it, you have to walk.
Yes.
Just walk. Just do it.
Just do it.
Even if you don't have like the best
in front of
situation,
the other. Yes.
you have to do it.
Because it's an experience, because you learn something from it, good or bad. You find out what you do and do not want out of life.
Yeah.
If the chance is there. So, we have learned, just take the chance, do it. And don't worry about, my husband's very good. Iggy is great about, you put something in front of him and he sees every possible scenario like that. Okay. And that paralysis can hit him as well. And so I'm the opposite side of that. I'm like, let's just trust the universe. Let's trust our instincts and let's just do it. If we don't like it, we can stop.
Then you learn, and then
you learn. Noche de Arte the studios came from that. Noche de Arte, which happens every Monday night. Every Monday night at Intercontinental Miami, we host Noche de Arte. January through November. Every Monday night. It's what the hotel wants. And we have taken what they want and created what we want to do with it. And it's aligned with their, I have 25 years of hospitality experience, and doing events and doing marketing and just things. So it's kind of in my blood to do events. But I also speak the hotel language. I know their needs. I know their limitations, right? So we're able to dance within those parameters and provide, it's a creative hub for people now in downtown Miami. You can go, sit there, hang out for 2 hours, talk to the artist, look at the work, make a collage. Creative play is always part of what we do. And just live for just a little bit, right? You can take the mover down for free. You can park for $7. Just be in this really elevated space and do nothing if you want. Hang out, and we've been doing this for 3 years now. And it was one of those things where we're like, okay, let's see what happens. Now we have a gallery because of the program layout changed. We were in the lobby and they changed the lobby. So now we're in this gallery space and it has completely changed the program. And it's just because we said, okay, let's try it. Let's see. We'll try it for a year. That's our thing. Well, we'll try it for a year. Let's see what happens. Saying yes has really been just have to walk it.
What's a typical day look like for you guys? Because you're an artist as well. How do you balance and how do you take on managing the admin side of the space?
We're still kind of working on that, honestly. It's in the last 2 years, it has grown exponentially. Like, yes. I've become very focused on this. But I have an arts marketing company, so I support nonprofits and artists in creating a brand, developing an audience, getting people to show up, which only ties into what I'm doing at collaboARTive as well. So between Font Squared and collaboARTive, I try to balance that out. And then Iggy is better at getting into the studio. He works part-time now. He teaches art part-time now, which gives him more time to help out with what we're doing here, but also make the work.
Mhm.
Again, that's why we're here in the first place, right? So I was fortunate enough to I am the FIU alumni artist in residence at the print shop over on the main campus. I have a studio there. They have given me a dedicated space. And I told Iggy yesterday, I have got to get there. I have work that I have to make for a show in February. And if I don't make the work, I am not showing. And he's like, oh, then you got to get there. I'm like, I have to create this. I have to create this demand, this deadline.
Yeah.
I think that helps artists a lot. You see that all the time. Oh, I have an application I have to fill out by X, or I have a show coming up.
It's so funny how, and working in school, like you kind of have to practice how to meet deadlines, and you almost want to. That part they don't tell you when you're an artist. They think it's all about creativity, which is a major part, of course, but there's also the organizational side, the business side, the filling out applications for grant side.
Right, grants and residencies and all the things that, yes, they elevate your practice.
Right.
Like in the public eye, but they also inform your practice in a very personal way.
Right.
Iggy was invited to go to Suriname. collaboARTive does this artist residency program in Suriname, which is between Guyana and French Guyana, South America. It's just this magical place. And that was the first time he had a residency. And he went away for, I think, a month. And he came back changed. I mean, he made this giant piece about the travel that he did and about all of his personal experiences. Scheherazade, who's here, has gone to a couple of residencies now. And that, you see it in her work is amazing. And so, like, Iggy didn't go because he needs to become, like the NFL star of the art world. He doesn't care about that. He wants to answer his own questions. And that residency, the travel, it just sparked up ideas and questions that he hadn't had before. So he's kind of building on that now. We need those things, but without a deadline. Without a deadline, it's hard to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably true for most people, not even just artists, right? Like you're working in a corporate world and you have to have that report done by Tuesday, whatever. Deadlines keep us on track. It's just hard. It's hard to do it all.
Do you have any favorite milestones since starting that you could?
Oh, yes. Well, it's a personal one, and there's so many things. Like we had, I'm forgetting her name. We had an artist here in her 70s. She got an Ellie, or maybe a night grant. She got a night grant. It was $10,000, and she used it to pay off her studio. We said, if you're just going to we gave her a break on the price because she paid for a year in advance with her grant money. And that gave her a year in the studio. I will remember her name, Ina Marrero. And she's been showing work and creating work for years while raising a family. And so she came here, she had the studio space, and she was able to dedicate her time and energy to making this great work. We were so happy to have her. Let's see, I know that Scheherazade just got an MIA grant. El Barbeto, who was there, she received, I think, an Ellie. I think it was an Ellie. And she's just blowing up. She's doing all this incredible work, and she started in fashion, so she's kind of like back in fashion. But she's the one who uses the invasive boa. Yeah, she's awesome. And she's genuine and dedicated to her practice. And there were deadlines to meet. But for me, my personal is in 2020, I had a terrible accident. People who know me know about it, and it changed the trajectory of my life. It was during COVID, first of all, when we were all thinking about, oh my God, life is going to end tomorrow.
Right.
And then my life almost did end. And it really shook me up. I couldn't work for a while at my full-time job. And so I had to step away. And when you have a lot of time to just sit and think, it's a powerful thing. And so I grew out of that recovery. I'm still 4 years now, and I can't remember names, and I can't remember, but it changed the trajectory of my life, and there's a silver lining to that, because if I hadn't had that accident, I'd still be working with the Arts and Business Council, which was a great place to be, but it wasn't fully aligned with who I needed to be, right? And so because of what happened, because of the pause that I had to take, I was able to say, oh, this is really who I am, and this is really what I want to do. And so now this is my full-time thing, right? I do Font Squared and collaboARTive. I'm supporting and lifting up artists in their practice. And I'm reminding people, just take the chance. It's not going to hurt you.
It's just so funny how short life is.
Yeah, and when you have that, I call myself Genie 2.0, because I'm a little bit different than I was before the accident. Life is just, I don't know, I can't do enough. Like I said, I can't say no, right? But it's like, why should I not do it? How much time do I have on this planet?
Right.
You don't know. So just do it. I mean, so many things about the perception of reality has shifted for me, you know? I mean, I still have to take care of myself. I have to rest. I have to, I have to take care of myself. But in that, I can't help but try to help other people reach the thing they want to reach, right? And particularly artists and just people who have this creative thing, and they just, as kids we're like, oh, that dog is stupid, and you never draw a dog again, right? You just, as children, we are all born artists.
You have to nurture. Yeah.
If you don't nurture it and allow it, it gets squashed. And then there's all of these other issues that come because you're repressing your voice.
Yeah.
Right? So we remind people their voice matters. That little kid in there with the paintbrush is part of who you are today. Let them play. Let them play. And so,
have you faced any challenges in the organization that you weren't expecting?
Well, it's more expensive. Like, we started this as more like a project of Font Squared. That's because it was called Warehouse 4726. That's the number on the door, right? And we called it a project. And pretty much every, because I had a full-time job, the money that I earned through Font Squared supported this, covered whatever rent wasn't covering. But at some point, after $20,000 or $25,000 of our own money, we said, okay, we have to go nonprofit to try to get funding.
Right.
And that has helped a lot. It's not easy to get money. People think, oh, I'll be a nonprofit. Money is going to roll in.
How was that process?
Well, it was,
how long?
Once we made the decision, because we had been dancing around that for a while. Once we made the decision, Iggy's brother, Javi, said, you guys need to be a nonprofit. And then he put his assistant on a task. She figured out this name is available. This is how and he sent us this whole list. This is what you do. We're like, okay. Like, again, I'm just going to do it. I filed as a business. I started the nonprofit. We got help from Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts, which is an arts biz program. So we had an attorney do it for free, pro bono. She did the bylaws. She gave us information on how to run a board. She did the IRS application. She did all of it for us. And she walked us through the process. It was so easy. And we wouldn't have been able to do it. I would say it took us a month, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
It took us a month. get it done, become a nonprofit. And because I've already worked in nonprofits, I have for-profit and nonprofit experience. I was able to just like, okay, here we go. Let's do it. And figuring out the business of it, bank account, separate from Font Squared, and applying for grants and trying to figure out how to manage a board, all of those things. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
But I think the Miami-Dade Department of Cultural Affairs has a lot of resources and information for
They're
people.
wonderful. You and I both served as panelists. They're incredible.
Yes. I mean, between Bill Spring, who started it God knows how long ago, and now Maria Laura Leslie.
Yeah.
An incredible team of people. And
they just want to give you money.
Yeah, they just want to give you
money.
The grant process is hard. The reporting is laborious. But hello, they're giving you money.
Yes.
They're giving you money to do the thing that you want to do. So
artists, look up Miami-Dade Cultural Affairs.
Yes. MiamiDadeArts.gov. Or .org maybe. Miami-Dade Arts.
Yeah.
They are amazing, and they have tons of resources for organizations and individual artists. They really are dedicated.
Super dedicated. I think what they do is absolutely tremendously important and incredible.
Yeah, excuse me.
So what's next for you? Future initiatives? What do you have planned? Is there expansion? Is there more workshops, more programs?
Well,
tell me.
As we have said, I can't say no. And we've realized that, so we started here because our friend Rosie needed space. And we started next door because our friend Maria needed space, who, by the way, is back. She's now in the front. She left her little Havana studio and she's here. Then we did that one because our friend Marucci needed help keeping her space. And one of our board members, Harry Ribovich, moved to Homestead about 5 years ago now, maybe 4 years ago. She had an incredible community of artists. She had an amazing studio, Palm Beach. That's where she grew up. That's where she lived for most of her life. And she had this rich and supportive artist community. And then her husband got a great job in Florida City, and she had to leave that. And it was culture shock. It was really difficult. And I keep saying that she's been looking for other artists, like picking up rocks, looking for other artists, because there's not a lot of resources in Homestead. There are cultural organizations down there. There is some support. There's a community down there, but it's not as connected as it is up here.
Right.
And so our next step is to try to do what we're doing here in Homestead, because our friend Terry needs a community, right? We are actively working on finding a location.
That's incredible.
So people like in Gould's and Cutler Bay, they don't have to drive to Bakehouse for a studio. It's amazing what Bakehouse does, but it's a really long way from
Absolutely.
Homestead.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we're doing. And then in December, because I can't say no, we're working with Fridge Fair again, the Fridge Art Fair. They do New York and Miami, and I'm working with Eric again to just do the thing, show local artists, give them an affordable opportunity to be a part of that craziness of Miami Art Week. And I should have a pop-up gallery in Wynwood. I say should because I'm just waiting for the agreement, where Fridge Fair will be there in Wynwood, and then I'll have it through the 15th. And so I'm going to activate that space all the way through December 15th, along with I mean, we're going to be in the Doral International Art Fair. All of our artists in the studios we're going to figure out how to show salon style on one, one wall, but we're doing the thing. And then, let's see, then we have February, we have a show in Fort Lauderdale, and March. April, we're supposed to go back to the Belen. Belen has a huge gallery. Good morning. Has a huge gallery, 4,000 square foot gallery. And we've been showing there for 3 or 4 years now. So we're supposed to go back there. So, I am focusing more on the artists here because I realize, I'm doing so much out of doors, and I really want to help build what's happening in the studio with the artists that we work with. So I'm trying to do more of that. I'm trying to focus on the practice of the artist. But there's still all those other events, right? Collage and Connect, which is online and has an international audience.
Nice.
I have people that join almost every month from Australia, Canada, UK, and the United States, all across the United States. Then we have Drawing on Discovery, which is helping artists to develop a workshop or develop a program that can be a revenue stream for them. So Scheherazade is hosting our Drawing on Discoveries once a month. I think it's the last Wednesday or Thursday of the month. She does an hour and a half of lesson. You know, we pay her a stipend. It's free to attend. And so she's developing a workshop practice, right, where she can create something for herself. And then we have Open Studio. We open the doors for just people to come in. There's, again, creative play activities and conversation and community. And it's a really nice thing. And then there's Noche de Arte.
Yeah.
Which is also every week. We used to say, oh my God, every Monday. But now it's like every Monday. And it's a different artist each month. So it's a solo exhibition for one artist for the entire month. And then they show up every Monday in that month to activate, talk to people, make something, you know. Yeah. I just want to do more. But there is a real focus on the artists here now, because I realize doing all of the things outside of our space,
right,
gets a lot of funding, but we could use it here too, because we kind of got to pay the rent.
yeah.
And we do want to keep it affordable. Like Give Miami Day, I'll do my Give Miami Day pitch. For Give Miami Day last year, we used that as an opportunity to subsidize the cost of rent here. So the rent is $425, very affordable.
Very affordable.
$425, and it went down to about $390 for most of the artists, and then a couple of the artists really pushed and helped us raise money. They all had their own little like landing page for Give Miami.
Yeah.
And so they told their community, hey, help me cover my rent. And so I think one of our artists pays just over $300 a month for studio space, because the Give Miami Day funds helped cover throughout the course of the year. So affordability is key, and it's helped them keep their practice.
Right.
Regardless of whatever else is happening in their personal lives, they're able to come here, focus, and find their way.
I love what you're doing.
Hi, thank you.
Will you give me a tour?
Yes, let's do a tour.
Let's do it.
Let's do a tour. And we'll start with Leila, because Leila just walked in. Hi. This is Millie with UM. We're doing a studio tour.
How are you?
How are you?
Very good.
So Leila, you've been here a year, yeah?
Yeah, it's almost a year now.
Almost a year.
Yeah. More like a year.
And Leila's here almost every day. Just about every day, right?
Yeah. Pretty much. Well, I'm doing a lot in digital, but painting, create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is some of your work in the back?
Yes, this is all my series. Dances, a broken body, and those are lilos.
Nice. It's a great space. I just love how you've divided everything.
Yeah, well, we were fortunate to put the walls up a couple of years ago. I think we were here probably 4 years, and we were able to put the walls up.
Yeah.
And we've just done, you'll see next door, we've just done the same next door as well. And then the last studio you'll see is really what we start with, because we've just started there. So we tape on the floor, the whole simple thing. So we have, my husband Iggy, he and I run the space. So this is his studio. He's a painter, very sort of, I call them emotional landscapes, but he's working on a series called Structures, and he's finding his way, and his work has grown. Like, he loves to paint big, and he's made some very large work while being here. He's bursting out of the seams. It's like time for a new studio.
Yeah. Bigger space.
Maria Patino, who I said, she helped us start next door, but she's back here now. And she came from a larger studio to this space, and she's she just moved in over the weekend. She's trying to figure out how to make the space work for her.
I mean, she's organized.
She's super organized. She does painting, murals, illustration.
I just love the card catalogs. They're my favorite. I just want one for my house.
Oh, I wish I had known. I gave one away. I always tell people when they move in here, I'm like, don't buy anything. It manifests. If you need a bookcase, it will turn up. If you need a chair, it shows up. It's amazing. This place is magic. This is my space. It's a little bit disorganized because we've got shows that we're putting together, and
and you do collage.
I do
my
collage.
Favorite medium.
Yeah, me too. I do collage, assemblage, and I started doing some printmaking. I have so much stuff. People bring me stuff, magazines and paper and yada yada, and I am pretty organized. I mean, I have my color paper, I have my paper, I have, I'm pretty organized. My maps. I love
Definitely,
maps.
you have everything in.
I love maps.
In cases, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And
my labeler is my favorite thing.
Ceilings are so high.
Yeah, the ceilings are high. We had for our second or third year, we had a birthday party, and the piñata was from the birthday party. Because what 3-year-old doesn't want a piñata?
I love this.
And so, like I said, we started in 2017, and then over here.
Look at all this real estate.
Door is open. Somebody's here. Who's here? Good morning. Oh, it's the Spurgeons. Good morning. So we came here in 2020. Hi. This is Ken and Deborah Spurgeon.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yep. I like to say they did the opposite. And most people retire, leave the city, and go to a farm or go to the country. They did the opposite. They retired, left the country, and came to Miami because family. But they are also
some of the farms.
Very dedicated to their practice and here quite often. Mm-hmm. Very often, yeah.
Incredible.
How's that coming along? Oh, it's so beautiful.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah, she's working on a commission piece.
Incredible. How long have you been here?
1 year this month.
Really?
1 year.
There you go. Wow.
1 year for you as well?
Yes.
They came in together.
Yep. Nice. Hired last year, sold everything from Michigan. We have family down here in Miami, so we thought, what better place to relocate, right?
Nice. Yeah. Incredible.
And they needed a place to work, and here they are.
A really nice space.
Yeah. And then behind you is Yossi Peled. He's probably been here more than a year, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 at this point. He came. He started with these wire sculptures, and the drawings are almost like drawings. Yeah, that's all wire. It's all done by hand.
Whoa.
Yeah, all wire done by hand. And then he began doing these sort of amorphous, 3-dimensional sculptural works. And again, he's just finding his way, making his practice. He has commissions, and he's just here. He's usually here. He must be out of town because if he's in Miami, he's here. He does travel a lot. And this is another one of our sort of research chill spots.
It's such a cool little nook.
It is.
If you need a break.
And again, the research library. And you
have
do
books
need a break.
And magazines.
You're working and you just need to stop and think about what you're doing. You need a place where you can just kind of relax, think, look at the work, and maybe look at references too, get ideas, right? This is Scheherazade. I was telling you about Scheherazade Thénard. She, again, very dedicated to the practice. She's here most days in the evenings. And she lives up in Broward, and she comes here almost every day for her studio. And treks it
down here, my gosh.
Yeah, because it's affordable, and she loves her studio space here. And
she has really unheard of.
Yeah, she's really grown her practice with us. Painting large, and now she has a show where she's going to be showing her drawings soon. She's so committed.
Is Fola here?
Fola is not here. Fola got called into work, but this is her space.
She's my little art crush.
I know. She's very excited to meet you. Fola is she was sent me a message this morning. Oh, she got called into work. She was hoping to be here.
Oh, I'll be back for her.
I know. She's excited. She's so excited. So this is Fola. Of course, you know, she works in hauntology. Her work is printmaking, collage, assemblage. She's working on a project for a grant that she got. And I know she's talked about this, but she's just trying to finish it up.
Her
Again,
work
a
is
deadline.
so intriguing to me.
Yeah.
I
It has a
just
feeling,
love
right?
her.
Her work has a feeling. Like you walk in here and you feel her work. And I know she focuses on the Caribbean,
Yes.
and you know, the slave trade and all the things that happened through the Caribbean
It's
specifically.
not easy subject matter, but she's so delicate.
Yes.
The results are so delicate and
Yeah. And that
just
really
beautiful.
that is really an expression of herself. She's very demure. I mean, at least the way I receive her, she's demure and she's respectful and she's very quiet, right? But then she makes this really powerful work.
Yes. So exciting.
So we're
Do you
not
have
going
an
to
upstairs?
We have it upstairs, but
Oh my
be
gosh.
super careful because these stairs are very narrow and make sure you hold a rail. There you go.
I got it.
We
Oh my
will
gosh.
get up here and I will turn on the light.
Oh my gosh, how cool is
Yeah,
this?
take it easy, go slow. I almost didn't want to, I almost never come up here just because those stairs.
Look at this space.
But it's like magic up here. We've had a couple of, Yossi, who is the tallest among us, was up here for the longest time, and then he decided he wanted to move down. And Jackie was looking for actually, Jackie started here as a sublet of Scheherazad's studio. She went on a residency, and Jackie took it over to try painting. She's a photographer by trade, and she wanted to work out this painting idea that she had. And so she had Scheherazad's studio for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And then in the process of Scheherazade moving back, Yossi, somebody was up front and he left, and Yossi took the place up front. And so this was available. She was like, well, I'm here. So what if I just, and that's what happened. She came up and her work has evolved and grown, and she's really finding her voice in the work that she's making now. You know, adding in these figures, which are well executed, and then she has sort of almost like an animal spirit or something, a spirit animal.
And look at these chairs.
I know, yeah, and she's responsible
fabulous.
for the vibe down in the chill space. I mean, you know, she has a great sense of design, you know, and you see that here, organization and design. But she's moving to MIFA, actually.
She is.
Yeah, she got a studio at MIFA, and it makes sense because they have a lot of focus on figurative work there, and her work is obviously very figurative. Yeah,
This is so insane. Look at this.
Yeah, that's a self-portrait. That's her.
Wow.
I mean, that is her. That's like, it's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. Now we'll take the final tour over on the other side.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible how huge this place is. Nice to meet you guys.
Oh, nice to meet you too. Have a good day.
Bye.
Enjoy the weekend.
We have been so lucky, you know. And so all of the spaces, you know, they're 24/7 access. There we go. You can come and go as you please. Parking is not always so easy, but parking is parking, you know,
Yeah.
Miami. And then we have, like I said, we've just begun here. And again, let's see. Oh, nobody here. We just moved the plants in from the hurricane preparation. So it doesn't always look this tropical in here. But
Whoa.
as I, you know, if you look back there, that's all Marucci. All Marucci, which is why she is the queen of 24. And so Marucci is here quite often working on her practice. She has a show coming up that she's been making work for, I think in...
She local?
Yes. No, everybody, yeah, she lives around the corner. Yeah, she's been making work. You know, she was a mother and a wife, and she raised her family. And I think later in life, she decided, I have to paint. I have to make work. And so she has been very dedicated to the practice, and it's very personal. It's very emotional work. It's, I just love her work. I really love her work.
This sense is so good, sense of color.
Yeah.
She does 3-dimensional.
Yeah, she does sculpture. She does.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This is so incredible. There's so many goodies.
I know, right?
I'm just a fan of filming. And they have a coffee station.
Oh yes, so yes. Each area has a little kitchen area because coffee is necessary. And a lot of the artists on this side come later in the day. Like Marucci will come in the morning. I think Yesenia has like a regular job, so she comes later. And I know Madison comes at night because I have never seen Madison work here ever. But I know she's working because it changes. So this is Yesenia Tefel.
Mm-hmm.
She hosts. She does like printmaking workshops and stamp making workshops. She's doing workshops here pretty regular. She's just started and she's going to do them regularly. Madison Hames, and like I haven't seen her since she moved in, but I know she's working because this has changed from a blank canvas to almost finished commission.
And again, research library.
Again, the research library. We're still working on building it up. And then I have some, because we are using this as like a workshop area, there's some collage materials and things. And then above that's a community collage that we're doing on open studio nights.
Oh,
I set it out and let people, fill it in.
Nice.
So it evolves every time we.
Oh, I just love that.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So we keep the materials here. And this is Britt Schremer. Britt is very happy to be here. You can see she could not do this at her home. The wall.
Hey.
She cannot do this at home. So she's happy to be here as well. She's here quite often making work. Tons of supplies, finding her way, developing it's just developing a practice. That's it. Again, how do we get more of this? We really need more space, more opportunity, more ways to let people do this kind of thing, whether they're doing it for money or whether they're just doing it because they have a passion and an image in their head they have to create. We really hope to be able to provide more of this kind of thing at an affordable rate.
You guys, what you're doing is incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me your time today.
Such a pleasure.
I'm so happy, and I think this is a gift. This is definitely a gift to artists, and we need more. We definitely
and to our community too. We are tucked away in a place. It's a warehouse district. In this district, we're in the Bird Road Art District, which in the 90s there were probably more than 200 artists.
Yes.
And we're down to 60 or 70, and it's very under the radar, which is intentional. But we invite people to come here and see what's going on. Just visit our website, collaboARTive.org. But we do encourage people to come, see what's happening, and tap into their own creativity.
I'm going to leave Jean's info down below. Please follow. And I'm going to leave some information about upcoming events. If you have any questions about the studio, I'm going to have that all down there in the comments. So thank you so much.